My friends, to desire is human. To want something, a life, a love, a legacy, is the whisper of your soul trying to remember who you truly are. But hear me well. You cannot truly get what you want until you become who you are. The world will try to tell you that getting what you want is a matter of ambition, of effort, of hustle. But the wise know otherwise. To get what you want, you must first understand why you want it. For if your desire is not rooted in your authentic self, you will climb the wrong mountain. And when you reach the top, you'll feel nothing but emptiness. Let me guide you through 5 truths, 5 keys, to unlock your hidden power and manifest the life that already lies within you. Desire in its truest form is never merely about the object it seems to fixate upon. It is a symbol, a messenger from the depths of your unconscious, trying to tell you something that your conscious mind has not yet fully understood. When you say you want success, love, wealth, recognition, what is it, truly, that you seek? Is it validation? Is it safety? Is it the freedom to finally be yourself without fear of judgment? The ego often mistakes desire for a checklist of worldly accomplishments, but the soul speaks a far more symbolic language. You may think you want a specific career, a particular person, a certain lifestyle, but what you actually yearn for is the emotional state you believe that thing will give you. Behind every desire is a hidden archetype, a myth waiting to unfold: the lover longing for union, the hero yearning for purpose, the sage seeking truth. So instead of asking, "How do I get what I want?" ask, "What does this desire represent within me?" Sit with your longing, meditate on it, trace its shape. You may find that what you desire most has little to do with external outcomes, and everything to do with an internal calling, a movement toward wholeness. This is why many people reach their goals and still feel empty. Because they mistook the symbol for the substance. They chased shadows rather than the source. But when you decode the symbol, when you truly understand what your desire is asking of you, you stop chasing illusions. You begin to align with your authentic path. Desire, then, is not something to be blindly followed. It is to be interpreted, understood, respected. It is not a command. It is an invitation to look deeper. To realize that what you truly want is not there, but already waiting to be claimed within you. When you begin to see your desires in this light, they cease to be sources of suffering and become sacred clues to your individuation. They reveal where the soul is trying to grow, what it is trying to heal, and what it is ready to become. And that, in the end, is far more powerful than simply getting what you want. It is becoming who you are meant to be. There is a part of you that you have hidden, suppressed, or ignored. A part that you were taught was unacceptable, too angry, too wild, too selfish, too sensitive. Over time, you pushed it into the darkness of your unconscious, hoping it would go away. But it did not. It became your shadow. The shadow is not evil. It is simply the unlived life within you. It holds your dissound strengths as much as your hidden fears. And as long as you avoid it, it controls you. You may find yourself sabotaging your own success, lashing out without understanding why, or shrinking from opportunities that secretly excite you. These patterns are not random. They are the voice of the shadow crying out to be seen. To get what you truly want in life, you must be willing to turn inward and face this part of yourself. This means confronting the emotions you were taught to deny. Your envy, your rage, your arrogance, your desire for power or attention. Not to indulge them blindly, but to understand them, to learn from them. Because every so-called negative trait within you contains energy that, when integrated, becomes your strength. When you reclaim your shadow, you reclaim your personal power. The courage you thought you lacked was hidden inside your fear. The passion you thought was lost was buried under shame. The confidence you seek lives within your willingness to accept all of who you are, not just the parts that feel noble or safe. This is not easy work. The shadow will resist being exposed. It will trick you, distort your perceptions, and tempt you to blame others for your discomfort. But if you stay with it, if you remain curious instead of judgmental, it will show you the gold hidden in your darkness. As Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. You cannot create a powerful life while rejecting parts of yourself. You cannot stand tall while secretly believing you are unworthy. The more of yourself you are willing to own, the less the world can use it against you. Integration is liberation. Wholeness is the source of real confidence. When you embrace the shadow, you stop playing small. You stop apologizing for your existence. You become grounded, unshakable, magnetic. People feel your authenticity even if they can't explain it. You are no longer pretending to be good. You are real. And that is far more powerful. So if you want to get what you truly desire, don't just strive harder, look within. Find the parts of you that you've cast aside. Listen to what they need. Heal them, integrate them, own them. For in doing so you reclaim not just your shadow, but your full, radiant self. And from that wholeness, you can create a life that no longer feels like a performance, but a reflection of your deepest truth. So often, we are taught to look outside of ourselves for answers. We're told that fulfillment lies in the next achievement, the next relationship, the next possession, the next title. And so we chase, relentlessly, believing that if we can just get one more thing, we will finally feel complete. But this is the great illusion, because no matter how far you run or how much you gain, if you are disconnected from your inner world, the feeling of lack will remain. The truth is this: the path to getting what you truly want does not begin out there, it begins within. Your outer life is a mirror of your inner life. What you attract, what you create, what you experience, all of it is deeply influenced by the state of your psyche. If your mind is clouded by fear, self-doubt, and unhealed wounds, then your actions will reflect that. Even if you achieve something remarkable, you will feel the hollowness of a success not rooted in authenticity. Real transformation begins when you stop running from yourself. When you sit in stillness and begin to listen, not to the world, but to the quiet voice within. That voice has been speaking to you all along through intuition, through dreams, through subtle pulls and resistances. But it is drowned out by the noise of comparison, competition, and expectation. When you silence that noise, even briefly, you begin to reconnect with your inner compass. This journey inward is not always pleasant. You will encounter parts of yourself you may not like. You will feel the pain you've buried, the confusion you've avoided, but it is only by facing those inner truths that you can come into alignment. Alignment is not about perfection. It is about honesty. It is about becoming so intimately connected to your true self that your thoughts, feelings, and actions all move in harmony. You begin to realize that you are not a passive participant in your life. You are its creator. And the quality of what you create depends entirely on your state of being. If you want peace, you must cultivate peace within. If you want love, you must become love within. If you want power, you must acknowledge your inner strength and stop outsourcing your worth. The irony is, once you turn inward and begin to live from your center, the external things you once chased begin to come to you with less effort. You stop grasping and start radiating. You stop striving and start attracting. Not because you're manipulating reality, but because you are finally aligned with it. The path is not a straight line. It is a spiral that leads deeper and deeper into the self. And with every turn inward, you shed a false identity, a borrowed belief, an outdated fear. You become more of who you already are. And from that place of authenticity, your desires begin to match your destiny, not as something you chase, but as something you embody. To walk the inner path is to become the very thing you seek. It is to realize that everything you were looking for was never missing. It was simply waiting for you to come home. Life is a dance of opposites. Light and dark, joy and sorrow, strength and vulnerability, action and rest. Yet we live in a world that teaches to choose sides. We are told to always be confident, never afraid. Always productive, never still. Always strong, never soft. But the human soul does not thrive in one extreme or the other. It thrives in the union of opposites. It longs for balance. Deep within your psyche lies attention, an ongoing conversation between polar forces. Your conscious mind may be striving forward, setting goals and pushing boundaries, but your unconscious may be whispering for stillness, rest, reflection. When you ignore one side of yourself, you create internal conflict. That conflict eventually manifests as anxiety, burnout, dissatisfaction, or a sense of being disconnected from your own life. To get what you truly want, you must stop choosing one side of yourself over the other. You must begin the sacred work of embracing your inner opposites. This means honoring both your ambition and your need for peace. It means allowing yourself to feel powerful without losing your gentleness. It means realizing that courage is not the absence of fear, but the integration of it. There is wisdom in your anger, just as there is wisdom in your compassion. There is truth in your chaos, just as there is truth in your order. Each opposite contains the seed of its counterpart. The more you try to eliminate one side, the more you strengthen its shadow. Suppress your vulnerability, and it will emerge as rage. Suppress your strength, and it will show up as helplessness. The alchemists called this process the conjunction, the union of opposites. They knew that gold was not created by avoiding darkness but by marrying it with light. The same principle applies to your psyche. You must stop dividing yourself into acceptable and unacceptable parts. You must hold the tension between opposites and let something higher emerge. A deeper version of you, more whole and more real than either side alone. Balance is not a passive state. It is an active engagement with your full self. It is learning when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when to listen, when to push forward and when to let go. And this balance cannot be taught by the world. It can only be discovered through intimate contact with your own inner rhythms. As you embrace your opposites, you become less reactive and more conscious. You no longer swing wildly between extremes, but move with intention and grace. You stop chasing fleeting highs and start cultivating lasting stability. You become grounded, not by holding tightly to one pole, but by standing firmly in the center. And from that center your desires become clear. Your actions become potent. Your energy becomes magnetic. The world responds differently to someone who is internally unified, who has faced their contradictions and made peace with them. Such a person radiates authenticity, and authenticity, more than any technique or strategy, is what draws your desires to you. So do not fear your contradictions. Do not run from your complexity. Dive into it, balance it. For in the dance of opposites, you will find your power, not in perfection, but in wholeness. There is a deep illusion that haunts modern life. The belief that to get what you want, you must go out and chase it, hunt it down, force it into being. This mindset turns desire into desperation and turns you into someone constantly running toward a finish line that keeps moving. But this endless chase often leads not to fulfillment, but to exhaustion. Because when you are always chasing, you are always implying that what you seek is separate from who you are. But the truth, the profound, liberating truth, is that the most powerful way to get what you want is not to chase it at all. It is to transform into the person for whom that desire is a natural extension of being. Not to run toward it, but to rise into it. When you become internally aligned with what you seek, the world begins to respond accordingly. It cannot help but mirror your state. Think of nature. The tree does not chase the sunlight, it grows upward, reaching, expanding. The flower does not pursue the bee, it blooms in its fullness, and the bee comes. This is not passivity. It is a different kind of power, a deeper kind of intelligence, a quiet understanding that the outer world is shaped by the inner world. You say you want love, then become deeply loving, toward yourself, toward others, even toward your own wounds. You say you want abundance, then shift your inner world from lack and scarcity to gratitude and receptivity. You say you want success, then embody the discipline, courage, and integrity of someone who is already living their purpose. This is not about pretending or putting on a mask. This is about authentic transformation, growing into the version of yourself that resonates with the reality you desire, not by faking it but by facing it. Facing your fears, your insecurities, your limiting beliefs. Asking yourself honestly, what parts of me are not yet ready to receive what I claim to want? Because often, we do not attract what we want. We attract what we are aligned with. And when there is a gap between our desires and our identity, life gives us signals. Not punishments, but invitations. Challenges that shape us, delays that refine, lessons that prepare us. These are not barriers, they are part of the becoming. Transformation is not a one-time event. It is a sacred, unfolding process. A shedding of what no longer serves, and an emergence of what has always been within you. The more you align with your true self, the less you feel the need to grasp. The more whole you become, the more naturally life begins to meet you with synchronicity, opportunity, and ease. This is not magic, it is psychology. When your conscious desires are supported by your unconscious beliefs, you create coherence. And in that coherence, you stop resisting the very things you're trying to bring into your life. So stop chasing. Start becoming. The life you want is not hiding from you. It is waiting for you to become the version of yourself who can hold it with grace, with strength, with truth. The more you transform from within, the more the world outside has no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect your inner state. You are not here to beg for your desires, you are here to embody them. And when you do, they come. Not because you chased them, but because you finally stopped running from yourself. In the end, to get what you truly want is not about force, but about becoming whole. When you align with your authentic self, your desires cease to be distant dreams. They become inevitable manifestations. The self is not a destination, it is a becoming, and in becoming who you truly are, you no longer get what you want. You are what you want, and the world answers accordingly.